Blog Talk Radio.
Tezlyn Figaro.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am your host, Tezlyn Figaro, Principal Consultant at Tezlyn Figaro Communications Group. Your choice for your voice at www.tezlynfigaro.com. Tonight, my special guest is Orlando County Commissioner, District 6 candidate, Derrick Wallace, a.k.a. Shine. The primary election there in Orlando, Florida is August 26th. We'll be discussing what he means when it says it's time to fix District 6 and why he's running for office. Stay tuned for the next hour on blogtalkradio.com/Tezlyn Figaro, or if you need to get on the move, I don't want you to miss any of the show, so you certainly can call in and listen live by calling 347-327-9514. Again, that number is 347-327-9514. Derrick Wallace is a lifetime Orlando native, educated there in District 6 schools, the same county he's running for. Jones High graduate. That brings a lot of clout there in District 6. Also earned his Bachelor of Science degree, graduating with honors from Florida A&M University, also known as FAMU. You certainly can read more about his background on Derrick Wallace website and connect with him on Facebook, Twitter. He has certainly ran a very aggressive social media campaign, and it will give you a long list of all of the various organizations he's been a part of. Certainly with the primary election being less than, 27 days away, I want to get straight down to business, but certainly visit him at www.derrickwallacefordistrict6.com, and I'm just going to get straight down to the business this evening, probably try to run a good 30, 45 minutes, possibly an hour, but I want to use our time wisely. So let me welcome Derrick Wallace to the show. Hello, Derrick. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and thank you, Tezlyn, for allowing me to have this opportunity to talk on your show.
Not a problem. Well, I've known you for several years, and if there's one thing I know about Derrick Wallace is that you're a businessman, so I'm going to go straight past the fluff, get straight down to business. I've told people about your background. Obviously, you've been running for the last year now, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you've been running the last year. Yeah. When did you actually get on the ballot, Derrick? Or not ballot. Well, I know the ballot was in June, but when did you actually start your campaign?
November 2012.
Okay, you were the first to get on, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you've ran for a good year. Those who are listening are more than likely familiar with this race, so I won't spend too much time on that. They can certainly visit you online to get more information about your background, but I'm just going to ask you straight out, starting with the controversy that's been going on. Not a lot of controversy that's been going on with this particular race like we've seen in others, but there has been some questions with you and other candidates as well. So I'm just going to ask straight up. You've ran the last year. You've ran a very aggressive campaign, a very well-funded campaign with your own resources as well as raising funds. You started out early, putting signs out, putting out literature. And I remember one of the political consultants asking me, why is Derrick starting so early? Why is he on the ground so early? And as a result of that, you've had some signs in areas that were questioned. So address that for me. What's the hype with the signs?
Well, some candidates didn't realize that you cannot put up signs in the county, but there's nothing against you putting up a sign in the city. And based on a poll we did, we realized that we needed more name recognition, regardless of the fact of Jones High graduate, FAMU graduate. A lot of people have moved into District 6 since I graduated from high school and graduated from college. So I needed name recognition, and we saw the hole that gave me the opportunity to put up signs within the city of Orlando in District 5 and District 6. And that's what I did. In September of last year, we started putting up signs. We've been accused of illegal. If you just read the regulations, a lot of times you can't read them now. I don't know what you're going to do when you get in office if you assume you're going to get in office. But, it's legal. It was legal from day one.
Okay.
And they don't like one big sign that's down on the corner of Old Wintergarden Road and Ivy Lane. They've been complaining about that one. I've got excited by it, so I've got to take it down. I guess I take my time about taking it down. But, the impact has been made.
It's been made. So you would say, because there's a slogan in politics that says, signs don't vote, but you're here to say that the impact and the investment in those signs, they've made a difference in your campaign over this last year?
When you walk into a grocery store or Home Depot and people look at you, say, "Aren't you Derrick? What, you the guy on that sign?" It has made an impact. Yes, it has.
Right. Okay. Now let me ask you, with that being said, a lot of people don't know what shine means. Don't know if you're saying I'm shining because I got big signs, or if that's an actual nickname. Now, Ron Rogers told me that was something they called you back in school. What's the nickname about? What does shine mean? And I guess why did you feel it was important to attach it to your it's actually on the ballot?
Well, I mean that was my elementary school name. I got that in elementary school because my eyes were so light. And so they call me Shine. But, I mean, all the way throughout high school and college, that was what most people knew me by. And I had an instance in high school when I was running for student council, and I was standing talking to a guy, and I had a poster board up there, and he was looking at me. He said, "Man, who is Derrick Wallace?" And I was standing right there with him. All he knew was my name was Shine. So he's looking at sign and say, "Who is Derrick Wallace, man?" I wanted to hit him. I didn't hit him. I said, "Man, that's me." So I didn't want to, because so many people know me only as Shine, I didn't want to lose that opportunity to make sure they knew I was running.
Right. And one thing that people don't, and I've told people, I know, I've worked with, and this, several candidates who you're running against. And what people, I tell people all the time, what they really do need to understand is that you are a businessman first and foremost. There can be some illusion, some, I guess, assuming you're just putting your name out there for the glorification. But I always try to tell people that one thing about it is you certainly did not become the largest African-American construction management firm in Florida, along with a whole list of other business accolades for the past 30 years without having some type of strategy in place. And I remember meeting with you early on in your campaign and you talking about how organized it would be. And so what you're saying is there's been a method to the madness. It's not just saying shine to say shine or put a sign somewhere just to put a sign somewhere. You literally have mapped out a very strategic plan in the last year. And I commend you for that, because one of the things that I get frustrated about is African-American candidates, waiting until the last 6 months or the last 3 months and kind of, always saying, well, nobody's paying attention, so it's no point in running. Nobody's paying attention. Well, I think the key is to get people to start paying attention. And as soon as you got on the ballot, other candidates started, fouling a lot earlier than what you would normally see, which has created a very aggressive fundraising ballot, or fundraising race between you and two other candidates in particular. So how has that challenge been with, consistently not only managing, how many volunteers do you have currently now, Derrick?
We have 213.
Wow. So,
I'm never... And people
wow.
are starting to come in, and volunteer. I mean, to get out the vote is what we're into right now, and the ability for people to want to go out and help us win and then get out the vote. It's just phone banking. We're phone banking every day with consistent people in terms of that. We're adding to that consistently. We're just doing everything necessary for us to win.
Right. And you're basing that, you say you're a community builder, but you've really built a machine on running campaigns and running it a little bit different than what we've seen in typically, the typical African-American races, with not just the ground but also the air. 215 or 200-plus volunteers is phenomenal. I organize volunteers, and I know that's not easy to do. So how has that, I guess, made an impact as far as being out, with the community, and what, type of results have they been able to see, with leaning on those volunteers for resources for your campaign? A very well-funded campaign, might I say.
We're doing fine in the 1 week that's passed as far as to get out the vote. We've had probably 60 people on the ground getting out the vote. Canvassing areas and stuff like that. That's never been heard of before. You got a lot of people crying. But these are not just people from me. These are my family. These are my friends. People I grew up with, over the years, and most of them are retired now because they're 60. So you in a situation now where you got people who can be there all day or half a day and give that time. So I've just been blessed at the time I decided to run, and it's just been wonderful. But our thing is about a plan of running it like a corporation. I set it up like a corporation. You have certain people responsible for certain things to get certain things done. I don't know how other campaigns are running or have been running in the past, but I focused on creating a corporation that had individuals responsible for certain things. We did a plan itself, actually a plan for this race, and we tweaked it, as we've gone along, understanding that's what has to happen. And I've learned a lot over these past year and a half.
What would you say? What have you learned? If you learned three things, what have you learned that's much different from? I tell people your personality is very twofold. For those who don't know you, when it comes down to business, you're all about business, about getting stuff done. But on a personal level, you really are, for people who don't know, hilarious to be around. But what have you learned? How is this much different than the for-profit world of deliverables and in construction? Everything having to be done at a certain time in a certain place. How, what have you learned by working with volunteers who are not paid and not under those, demands that you see in your?
Well, it's just not the volunteer. We have paid for things that I would never, pay for again. You can't be everywhere and every time. Everybody's selling you, I can do this. My station is this. I got so many of this, and this newspaper so many of this. If I would run again, and that's not my intention, or if I work in a campaign, I can really structure a campaign now. I feel that can be very direct and to the point in terms of how you spend your money. We get over 20,000 fans out in the community, in churches and houses. We canvass with them. We got over 2,000 signs in yards. I guess, people say, he could spend all that money. He ain't going to win anyway. But, we have strategically done the right thing, okay? We didn't just throw money around. I know that what we've done is a good thing, and I know that we're going to win this race. But being very organized with volunteers, we have people who call constantly. Call the volunteers constantly. Then we have phone banking, okay, to get out the vote people, also in terms of going out trying to help us win. The volunteers are there. We put out 6,000 fundraising letters to make sure I sent a letter to every person who ever donated to Jacobs, Tiffany, during the past races and the current race. And we got that out with handwritten letters, handwritten, in a week's time. We did 30,000 pieces of mail 2 weeks ago, and we got it out in 4 days. But it wasn't written as far as handwritten. It was labeled, but we got that out in 4 days. That's printing and putting the labels on it and getting it to the post office so we can beat the absentee ballot stuff coming out. Okay.
And you had volunteers actually putting the labels on, didn't you, Derrick?
Yeah. I mean, because these guys charge 12 cents to 15 cents to my nigga printer. I say, nah, just print the piece for me, and I get the label. You know, I mean, but
and that makes a difference. How would you say that makes a difference in one of the things as county commissioner is managing a budget. So you would say that even just looking at your campaign, how you've managed, because to me, I would say, okay, 15 cents. Come on, Derrick, just go on and pay the $200-$300. But you're saying the amount of mailers that you put out, that adds up.
Yeah, right. I mean, but you say better than this, but this is for $150,000. I mean, I've done projects over $25 million. I know how to manage money. I mean, that's nothing new to me over the 30 years that I've been in business. So you got to watch that dollar, and you make some mistakes, and we've done that. But overall, I think we've run a very clean campaign. A very energized campaign. We've always had something going on. Every week we were having fish fries or something to engage the community, So
now you've also been criticized, or not criticized, I guess. Nobody was expecting you to drop that type of money in your own campaign. Why was that important to you? I know there was some principle behind that as well, because, I tally up the numbers every month.
Well, I felt it was important because I felt two candidates were backed by the business community from two different perspectives. I feel like, and I still feel like it. I think some of the endorsements that came out show what I felt it was right. But I think that scared them off. Said, well, am I going to put this kind of money behind them? They didn't. So I don't know if it worked or whatever, but and then when I play to win, I play to win.
Mm-hmm.
So
you did tell me that.
If you look at winning, anytime I've gotten projects, I do everything that I can to win. That's not saying I win every time. Okay, but I never look back and say, you should have done this. If I lost, I just lost. But that's not saying I don't put everything in it. I put everything in. Anything I'm doing to win. That's what I do.
Well, you play to win. So assuming you win, what do you mean? Your mailers, say fix District 6. When you say fix, what's broken? What will you actually be fixing? What can you identify as being broken?
The whole district is broken. I was in church that I had a pastor, and she was talking about when she came to that church, which, you get assigned by AME church and stuff like that, and she didn't want to come. She got there, man, everything was, in disarray, wasn't no boards doing anything, and she put it like this. It was Ezekiel 37, which was what they call the dry bones, and it's an area of like wasteland or just bones, but with the Lord's help, they put tendons back on the bones. They put skin, put muscles on the bone. They put skin, but the Lord had to blow life back into that body after it got the skin and everything on it to make it live. And she say that's what happened with her church. They blew breath back in there. And I look, I say, that's District 6. I say the church here was in District 6, okay? But that's District 6. It needs a lot of help, okay? We need a plan. Nobody's ever taken District 6 to what's wrong with it. We know we need jobs. We need opportunities and stuff like that. But they do neighborhood improvement plans downtown all the time. They do them on South or Orange Avenue, and even done one in Pine Hills, okay? But we need to do a comprehensive plan to identify the assets that District 6 has. We need to brand District 6 to say, what good it is and what it can be. But somebody has to start out first to do that plan to identify ways that we can improve. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's going to happen tomorrow, but there's got to be an advocate for the people of the community, for the Black African-American community, for the Hispanic community, for the white community, for the people that want something better in District 6. You know, there has not been an advocate, you know, for the past 16 years to speak up for District 6. You know,
and when you say speak up, you mean be very clear about the demands in a public way.
That's correct. You know, I mean, I went attended a Pine Hills neighborhood session, and I learned that they have a neighborhood improvement district in Pine Hills, and the board of county commissioners is the board that governs the neighborhood improvement district, and it's been in existence 3 years, and they have never met. How can you be serious about improving Pine Hills and the board never meets? It could be a meeting right after the meeting where everybody's there. You know, I mean, but I don't know. You know, when I heard that, I just didn't even understand how the Board of County Commissioners could oversee this organization and never meet. And the current commissioner never insisted in me. Doesn't make sense to me. So there's got to be a plan put in place.
Okay, and speaking of that plan, we've talked a little bit briefly about your idea with the public bank. Tell us a little bit about that and how a county commissioner can assist with starting or being a part of an initiative like a public bank.
This is something I just was made aware of, you know. But you know, these government agencies, county, school boards, you know, they have a lot of money that they invest in banks. And I'm not trying to get in competition with the banks, because I'm only talking about enough money to maybe do some new housing that's needed in District 6. You know, but you know, that you can leverage, you know, against other monies in conjunction with a bank. So you know, we're not trying to replace a regular bank, but we're trying to find ways to enhance the opportunity to develop, you know, housing, you know, and other economic development opportunities in the area, you know, which is very distressed. And it's an idea, and as I learn more about it, it's something I feel that I will put forth. You know, but you know, my success can't come unless I have to support the other community. And I'm not saying that the other commissioners had the support. You know, I don't know what their reason for not being successful, what they tried to do or didn't try to do. But I'm asking the community to stand with me, let me be that advocate, and push forward things that can benefit our community.
And you know, it takes, like you said, it takes support. It also takes other commissioners as well to vote on issues. How do you feel about, you know, being able to? Because one thing, we talk real. You and I have always had a straight up real relationship, and you know, typically African American candidates are, you know, tend to be the hugs and kisses and fluff, you know, and want to get along with everybody, and you know, you have a very business way of handling things, and that may not be something that, you know, most of us are used to seeing in African American candidates. With that said, I also like to direct people's attention to, you certainly didn't sit on all of the boards, which goes on and on and on and on, with actually getting things done without having the ability to galvanize support and to get, you know, people on one accord. So sitting on a county commissioner board with very diverse backgrounds, opinions, and each one having their own constituents' needs, how do you see yourself, you know, working with Teresa Jacobs and the other county commissioners?
Well, I think if you went in there with an agenda that didn't include other commissioners and the mayor, and understanding that some concessions have to be made, you'd be crazy. Okay, so it's going to be my thing is relationship building, getting to know the other commissioners, getting to understand what's important to them, and they understand what's important to me. It's going to be very, very, very important. I guess I will be as honest and open as I can for what I want for my district. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have an issue with that. It's one thing you don't have to worry about, and that's is being confused about your position. That's one thing for sure.
So I mean, it's some give and some take, but but it looks like District 6 has just been on the giving part. Let's just understand, this is my agenda, and the mayor will know what my agenda is going in the door. What I want to try to accomplish, and how we can work together to do that since they've neglected this area. Understanding how the money is allocated, what's the hot button in terms of what gets funded and what doesn't get funded, and looking at what's been done over the years from District 6, how the money, where it comes from, what it's for. A lot of times I look at the city, and I know millions of dollars come to the city, because of black people. Then they put it into arenas, they put it into parking garages and all this kind of stuff, because they can, because nobody else stands up and speaks to it should not be that way, or if they do, there's not enough clout to do anything. I'm saying I'll be very good about how every dollar comes in and how it should have been neglected. When you look at how bad Pioneer's been neglected over the years, it's just fair. But there was no representation of that area. I mean, from years back, and there's none now. So I would say that I'm going to be looking at the details.
And I think, one thing I tell people, because I have opinions about all of the candidates, but one thing that I know you and I share is what it takes to run a payroll. I've leaned on you for support and encouragement with how real it is to actually run a payroll. I've done some pretty challenging things in my life, military jobs, divorce, moving, having a baby, but there is nothing like having 200-300 people depending on you on a weekly and biweekly basis to run a payroll. It's the most stressful time of my life, and it really does build a sense of character that a lot of people just can't, it's not for the faint at heart, put it that way. And I think it's a real strength in knowing what it takes to actually get business done. And certainly, again, this interview is about you, not comparing, contrasting with other candidates, but I know one thing with you having hundreds of employees over the years and the tough decisions that have had to been made, I know a lot of people just really doesn't understand when people are depending upon you. And that's a stress that a lot of people as elected officials can't handle, going in the door with people actually needing things done. Would you say that that is one of your greatest strengths? Everybody has to learn public policy. There are some candidates who you're running against that have a little bit more hands-on as far as public policy. You've done a lot of government boards, don't get me wrong, but there are some candidates that have a little bit more hands-on public policy. But what would you say that you being a businessman and having to actually feed families makes a difference with you being a commissioner and really understanding, the unemployment crisis, which is our number one issue, particularly in the African-American community?
Well, I understand that people depend on people to live, and how we've provided jobs for the past 30 years within the African American community. We've been blessed to be able to do that, but it's controlling the money also. It's understanding, how you try to grow a business. Therefore, we are very conservative. We're a very conservative firm in terms of the way we do things. We don't run out and out and go to Bahamas and all that kind of stuff. We put our money back into our business. I mean, we do. The difference between my firm and a firm that can do $1 billion is they can do $1 billion. But as far as the quality of the organization, the dealings that we deal with banks, as far as respect that we have, the ability to put our proposal that's on the same level as a $2 billion company, it's the same. Our competition, when we were doing work at the school board, was the top 40 firms in the United States. That's because we had bonding capacity where we could do a $30 million project. So our competition every day was so what I look at now is that if there's no advocate for a black or Hispanic firm, they're not doing anything, okay? They're not doing anything. They used to do stuff, but there's no advocate now, so they don't do anything, okay? And if you got to compare a $25 million project for that's going out from the school board or any organization, if you got a choice between a firm that does $50 million a year or something like that, right, and a $2 billion firm, but this firm that can do that's done the $50 million per year can do that $25 million project. They can do it, and they've shown that they can do it. When it comes down to it, who are they going to choose? I can tell you they're going to choose the $2 billion firm.
Right.
Because
and is that because,
you don't have an advocate. That's all it's because.
That knows their pain. Being a subcontractor on projects that didn't go through several millions of dollars that was lost, until you know what it is to feel that pain from the business perspective, I think that's a huge plus that you have there, because, your critics will say, well, Derrick's just getting in because, focus on the business. But I think it's important to say that you've already secured contracts. You already know how to get the business. But it is also important to help other firms know how to position themselves as well, and to help them have the bonding capacity. Because I'm just being honest, me running my business, employing several hundred people, there was no one, that reached out, or I felt that I could continue my business when the staffing industry dropped and everything hit. I mean, I'm glad I got out when I could, but I can't say that the county or the city itself, that they have the loans available, or my business is much different than yours as far as bonding capacity is concerned. But I don't feel there's a lot of African-American support for businesses, not just in the county, but statewide and national. So are you speaking from living that?
I'm speaking from how my business got started, well, how I started to grow. Somebody complained at Disney World, and I heard it was, I don't know, it was some people, Reverend Zach was one of them. They complained at Disney World that they weren't doing anything, okay? And they were talking about bringing the SCLC and all this kind of stuff. So Disney said, okay. There happened to be a project that called the Coronado Hotel that came up about that time. And so Disney told a contractor, Syntex, to go get a minority partner, okay? And my phone rang because I was working with a sister company to Syntex called Great Star West. At that particular time, I had a little small pickup, and the headlight was falling down, and the visor wouldn't stay up, wasn't no air conditioning. And they called me out and was trying to work me into the project, and I wind up get like 10% joint venture with Syntex. Well, that would not have happened if Laverne Kelly and Zach and some other people, if they had not complained, okay. But they did exactly what they always do. This person complained, they go find somebody else, okay, rather than working with these people that they're working with. But I was a recipient of that push that Zach and Laverne and them did. I did and I started to grow my firm from that point. Now my point is, if I look at that as like being an advocate, there was an advocate then that pushed Disney to do that. Okay? Well, once nobody focuses on Disney anymore, they don't do anything. When I got an award from the African American Chamber about 4 years ago, and they were highlighting that I had got work from Disney in 1992. I thought that was terrible, and I said it, in the meeting that you hear he got some young guys, ACY and them, and Praise, and all these guys, and they don't have the same opportunity that I got, from Disney. It should
in
be
1992, right? Here we are in 2014, and we talk about 1992.
Right, and they highlight me that I got some work in 1992. I mean, so what I'm saying is, we don't have advocates. Now, one politician, and I'm not talking about politicians personally, but nobody's standing up for the people that need jobs. I'm not getting into the Daisy group and stuff like that, but nobody's standing up for people to do better. And all I'm saying is, I can be an advocate, but I need, whether it's going to be churches, pastors, or whatever, or just common everyday people, that when we say we're going to stand up, let's stand up. So I'm not going to see anything. Everyone's going to go and he's going to do this. Everyone's ain't going to do nothing without you. Nothing.
Right. So you saying that shine want to make sure somebody else shine, but in order to do that, we got to grind, period. People got to be willing to stand up. I like to rhyme whenever I get a chance. So
yeah, that's all right. You can use shine like that.
So basically what you're saying is people have to get involved beyond the campaign.
It's past time, to recognize that, we need to stand up for ourselves. Nobody else will stand up for us. We need to stand up for ourselves. And if we stand up in numbers, they'll start to recognize us. But, they don't care because you don't care. If you accept it, and I'm not talking about anything radical. I'm really not talking about anything radical. But if you put that in their face enough, they don't want it in their face. Okay, and if you got an advocate, which will be, the next county commissioner speaking out, I'm not bought, and that's no reason I felt these people who are running would be bought. They're not going to do anything that's going to, piss off whatever, they groups. And they got two different groups that I saw. So it was time for something to happen for blacks. And these people that I saw who were talking about, I didn't feel that they were going to be the type of leadership that we need right now. I'm not running for 8 years. Hopefully we'll find a younger person or something that can carry on where I hope that I'm able to go to.
So the bottom line is you have a job. You certainly have a job, and we all know you got a house as big as Texas. So this is not about just earning a salary for you. This is truly about making an impact. And I took a lot of slack last week, for asking, people to stand up for African Americans and Hispanics, and particularly African Americans, and having resources that are available. And it's not an easy fight. You find yourself solo. You find that everybody rallies around everybody else's issue. But when it comes down to our issues, particularly African American businesses, it's usually on the hush-hush and behind the scenes. And, I'm tired of, I wrote an article last year about private dancing. I'm tired of private dancers dancing behind the scenes. When is somebody going to say something on a public level, clear and crystal clear for everybody to hear? And I do think that takes, like you said, someone who doesn't have an allegiance to one group or the other, because once you start having allegiances, it does silence you somewhat. Again, I don't know what candidates' allegiance they have or don't have. I've always made it clear, even to the other candidates in this race, that my relationship with you is very different and it's personal. I've had more time to engage with you as a business person, out here on this grind. So I just wanted to thank you for stopping by, Derrick. I know that you're busy and you certainly run a business, and clearly your campaign sounds like a business itself. I won't take too much more of your time. I know we could have spent a lot of time just kind of going through, where are you from and this and that, but I thought these questions were important for the listeners to hear, as well as your base as well. In closing, is there anything else that you want to point out, any additional support that people can lend to you with the primary election coming up on August 26th? I know you've expressed that your goal is not to have a runoff, when many people say there will be a runoff without a doubt, but I know you have said from the jump that you want to take it on home the first time. So besides people finding you at Derrick Wallace for District6.com, what are some charges you can give to the people tonight before we close on how they can help you be more effective in the next 25 days?
Today I went back and I looked at Homer's race in 2002. Homer won against 4 people, and he got 52% of the vote. We can do it because we're not running a traditional campaign, okay? We're running a campaign that has involved all of the people in District 6, whether it's Caribbeans, Haitians, Hispanics, white, Republicans. We've gone after everybody to let them know about Derrick Wallace. I think that's the difference. I don't know how these other campaigns who they talk, what's their target, market, or it's you talk about the super voters. I don't even know what a super voter is. It's a person who vote consistently, what? The primary, the general election, 2002, 4, 6, 8. I mean, I don't even know what that is, but we have engaged the community like I don't think anybody else has, okay? And when you talk about, say, 30,000 pieces of mail that went out like in 4 days to the community, I mean, I think that says a lot for our volunteers.
Mm-hmm. It does.
That says a lot for the thought process that goes into trying to figure out who you're touching. I mean, the canvassing that we do door to door, talking about, Derrick Wallace and stuff like that. Well, I mean, we've done everything I think that can be done. We're one of the few. I'm not sure if any other campaign has an office. We've had an office since I mean, we have an office that somebody's virtually always there. I mean, I'm here now, and there are people inside, working. It's like a family.
Mm-hmm.
So we're located at 2000 Bruton Boulevard, right next to St. Mark. Used to be the CNC Pharmacy building, and we're going to be here for the next 27 days, and then we'll move out on the 28th day, because it'll be all over at that time. I don't care what people say as far as it's got to be. you know what? You know, I guess everybody's jockeying for who's gonna be number 2 because I'm number 1. So they're jockeying for who's gonna be number 2. I don't know who that is, you know, but let them figure that. Let them figure that out all by themselves because you know I know I'm number 1.
You are a mess. I guess that's why they call you Shine. I told people that one thing about Derrick, you don't have to worry about him being confused about anything. But I will say, you don't hear candidates saying that all the time. You know, you talk a lot of you back it up though. I will say that you remind me of myself, but at least you do have the volunteers in the hundreds, you know, who are also singing that same message. It'd be different if you just stand up there saying you're number 1 by yourself, but you really do have the volunteer support, and that can't be doubted. And I just want to personally thank you. I know you said no fluff, but still, you've been a great friend to me. And that's real, though, in business. You seem tough as nails, literally construction nail. Well, you are kind of in a way. But you have been a great support because, you know, and running the business is real now. You know, and I've called you straight up like, Derrick, I don't know what else to do at this point. So I just want to thank you for always lending an ear to me. And as you know, me being out of town now with my mother and grandmother and needing to be able to still stay connected to Orlando and all of the things that I've done and still, more importantly, the base that I've built, the employees that I've had an opportunity to help. I don't want to let them down, Derrick, and I want to make sure that I'm still staying on top of public policy and politics as much as I can. So that is the reason why this show was created, was to still stay in touch and to keep people who are connected to me involved, because real leadership is leadership. Either you're going to lead or you're not going to lead. And I tell people all the time, well, you know, you go here, you travel here. Some of y'all won't lead around the corner. You won't spend $5 just to go around the corner and lead somebody, let alone, you know, spend personal time. You know, no matter how far I am consistently and always will be involved in Florida politics. And as you know, I'll be back. I just haven't explained my plan to everybody because it ain't none of their business. But I want to thank you for you know, just taking out time to meet with me. I know you're not one to spend a lot of time on fluff. You're certainly not one to, you know, get into these circle jerk, you know, back and forth, you know, asking these same questions over and over. So I really do consider it a pleasure, you know, that you've taken the time to talk to me. And I've told other candidates they were welcome to talk or whatever, but you've always been very responsive to me, and I appreciate that because I think that just goes back again to you know personally how hard I've worked, and my heart is in it. So thank you so much, Derrick, for coming by. For those who are listening, again, they can visit you at www.DerrickWallaceForDistrict6.com. Anything else you want to say, Derrick? I do thank you again for coming by before we close out.
The only thing I did say, we have a fantastic social media committee that is into Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're doing some fantastic stuff. And I think we've all learned a lot, you know, over these past few months and stuff like that. So we're just doing everything we do to win, and I want to thank you. It's not everybody I talk to. You're one of the few people that I will talk to. So I want
because I'm so wonderful.
You're special.
Thank you.
You're special. Yeah.
Can I get I'm wonderful or something? This might be the only time I get.
That's right. No, but I
gotta
enjoy your friendship. You take.
I gotta take it when I can get it. I remember the first time I met you, and I sat across from you giving a proposal. You sat there with your arms folded. I said, you was about that business, but you know, it makes you strong. You know, it does. The grind is real. The struggle is real. So if nothing else, you know, you bring that to the table. And I don't take that like, you know, I'm joking, but I really do. You know, appreciate you saying you thank me, because you know that's kind of amazing that you said that. How wonderful I am.
I don't deal with a lot. You know, I choose friends very carefully, and I consider you a friend.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. You can hear this show again over and over and over at www.blogtalkradio.com/Tezlyn Figaro. Certainly, Derrick, I encourage you to send it out, you know, through your social media. networks as well so that they can hear the show as we continue moving forward to the primary election. Many forums are going on. Many interviews are going on. I just kind of wanted a personal one-on-one with Derrick Wallace tonight to get a little bit of insight on how he's ran his campaign and just being honest, dealing with some of the controversies. But you certainly can go to his website and see more about his bio and more of the details. And like Derrick mentioned, the campaign office is open on a daily basis. So if you want to know more about his platform and what he's going to do and so forth, certainly I was not wanting to spend a lot of time on that, but I wanted to ask questions that are not typically asked in the forum setting. So certainly they can reach reach Derrick there. And what's that campaign office number, Derrick?
407-704-2131.
Okay, so 407-704-2131 is where you can reach anyone with the Derrick Wallace campaign for any additional campaign questions. Don't be confused. This man does have a plan in place. He does have a platform in place, an entire rollout on where he wants to go with the community. Again, you've seen a lot of these forums, and everybody kind of says the same thing over and over, and I just wanted you to get some insight personally on him. So, again, thank you, Derrick Wallace. Thank you for everyone listening. You can visit me at www.tezlynfigaro.com, and we will see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Derrick.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Tezlynfigaro.com.